Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 2 and module 2 of ethical leadership and organizational behavior. Hopefully you all made it through the first week. I know this class moves fast. There was a lot in that first week because you had to figure everything out, plus introduce yourself, plus do all 3 of your regular assignments. So if you have any problems along the way, please send me an email, tsigler@citadel.edu. That's the best way to get hold of me. If you ever have a problem posting something, you can always just email it to me. So, week 2, module 2, understanding people at work. In this module, we're looking at 2 different chapters that look at work and attitudes and behaviors. And a plan for your specific activities. We'll be looking at evaluating the ways organizations influence work attitudes and behavior, and developing a plan for improving fit in your own situation. And then finally, examining the Citadel principle characteristics of principled leaders. This week we're doing embracing a true, authentic self. So the chapters this week look at some individual differences, look at the way people go about perceiving, some biases, and then also the second chapter looks at the outcomes that we study in organizational behavior, attitudes, as well as performance outcomes. Okay, so the first task is the module discussion. So I've got a link to Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For, and then there's also a case at the beginning of the chapter of supposedly a really good organization to work for. And so take a look at both the SAS organization and the organizations on the 100 Best list. How do they try to influence at these important attitudes and outcomes? Then evaluate your current or most recent employer, that should say, on these same criteria. Do you feel satisfied? And are you committed? Do you exhibit high levels of performance as well as organizational citizenship behaviors? And so basically just looking at, in your own experience, in your own employer, how well do they do on those important outcomes in organizational behavior? And how could they do it better? So hopefully you will be able to get some ideas as you see each other's posts. You can be able to evaluate how good your organization is compared to others that the students in the class are working with. And then the final question, so when you're in charge, what will you do to positively influence these attitudes and outcomes? Okay, so post your initial discussion by Wednesday, and then respond to at least 2 other posts by Sunday at midnight. The written assignment, is going to have you try to figure out and identify your own values. So I've got an activity for you that you'll complete on your own. I won't ask you to submit all the details, but to go through the process. It's kind of like a bucket list activity. And then reflect on that experience. What did you learn? What struck you? What groups did you end up with? And then try to identify the values you hold from this week, the journal entry, and this dream categories. And then evaluate, trying to get at person job fit and person organization fit. So take a look at those definitions. And then based on your analysis and your look at the fit between you and the organization and you and the job, what do you come up with? What should you do at this point? And then finally, the journal for Module 2. You have to click all the way through to get the assignment. And this journal is all about true, authentic self. So I've got readings, video about authenticity, and an activity that I've used before that actually has come from this book that Bill George has written about becoming an authentic leader, True North. So he's come up with a workbook to help you kind of work through some of the ideas, or anybody who wants to develop their leadership and discover their true north. He has them do this activity about your life story. So first you draw a picture of the path to your life. I gave you an example of mine that was I drew for one of my classes using my technology skills, which are not great. And then to answer the questions that draw from your life experiences. What are the challenges you've faced? What are these crucibles? These are Bill George calls these difficult challenges the crucible. How do you turn this crucible into an opportunity? How might you? Do your life experiences shape the values you hold, and how well are you living your values? So type up the answers only as much as you want to share. I really want you to go through the process of reflecting and then share what you're willing to share. So not quite as many assignments for this week, but I'm looking forward to reading about your responses from last week and reading over your journals and your introductions and your discussion boards and your written assignments. So have a good week.